Hi, my name is Marshall, and this is the 28th episode and 4-year anniversary of Waveform. It's also the last episode of Waveform, but we'll talk more about that at the end of this video. 4 years ago in August, I made my first real YouTube video essay on sound design and called it Waveform Episode 1. It was on the subject of layering.
Hi, my name is Marshall, and this is Waveform.
Oh god, two things are true in that video. One, I was absolutely not qualified at that time to be giving any advice on sound design, and two, I had no idea what this channel would become or that I'd be here 4 years later still making episodes. If you'd told me back then that we'd pass 10k subscribers, I'd have been like, yeah right, where are you going to find 10,000 people who want to watch video essays on game sound design? Now we're here at 60,000 and the channel's growing faster than ever. It's just awesome to see. And I couldn't be more thankful to all of you who support the channel by watching, especially those of you who go the extra mile and support me on Patreon. I owe all of you my sincerest thanks. All that being said, a lot more than just the subscriber count has changed in those last 4 years. I've spent 3 of them working full-time at 2 different AAA game studios, shipped Just Cause 4, and many more small projects have come and gone. So today I thought I'd take you all with me on a trip down memory lane. Let's watch through some clips from the first few episodes of Waveform, but most importantly, let's absolutely roast my younger self for giving bad sound design advice and hopefully learn something from my mistakes. Let's dive in.
Sound design can be tricky. Most of the time when you're watching a movie or playing a game, the sounds you're hearing aren't exactly what you're seeing on screen. For example, what are you listening to right now? Rain in my backyard, right? Well, not quite. What you're actually listening to is bacon frying in a pan. The reason this is deceptive is because of a technique called layering.
Alright, let's just stop right there. No, the reason the bacon sounds like rain is not because of layering at all. The sound of the bacon here isn't layered with any other recordings. The real reason that a sound designer can use the sound of bacon frying as a substitute for rain is much more simple, and it's just that the sound of rain and the sound of frying something are very similar. There are countless examples of this in real life. A gunshot and an explosion, a slap and a clap, a car start and a lion roar. There's a better lesson to learn here than layering, and it's that sometimes the best thing you can do as a sound designer is ditch the rules and expectations. Get creative, because you can draw source from almost anywhere. Try making an explosion sound without recordings of explosions at all. Even if it sucks, you'll have learned a lot more than if you just dragged and dropped an explosion sound from your library into your DAW.
My name is Marshall, and this is Waveform. When was the last time a game menu felt important and interesting to you? This video is going to be about the sound design in Hearthstone. It seems like despite the advance in sound quality and graphics, game menus are still pretty much the same as they were 15 years ago. And for the most part, they sound exactly the same too. Just beeps and clicks.
The whole premise of this video is completely flawed. In fact, when I was interviewing for my job as a sound designer at Avalanche, my old boss asked me, "What's your least favorite episode of Waveform that you've made?" And I said, hands down, the Hearthstone episode. Basically, what I tried to say in this video was game menu sounds should be more interesting than clicks and beeps, and everything should be more like Hearthstone. Well, guess what? Not every game is Hearthstone. There are plenty of games out there that look and sound amazing, but just don't have any use for a GUI design like Hearthstone's. In rare situations where the menu begs to be designed to match some physical or animated cues like on the Hearthstone box, sure, it's awesome to design that in a cool way, but not every game has that. Not to mention, simple clicks and beeps are amazing. Sometimes there's nothing more satisfying than a simple click or a perfect little tactile beep. So basically, I'd just like to retract this video and instead submit a basic statement that covers the whole idea that I wanted to get across. Keep it simple. Unless you think it should be cool, then make it cool.
That is a good idea.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
This is probably the most important part of an entire sound project, and it happens before you even turn on the computer. Once you've found your seed or your inspiration, all the decisions you make in sample selection and recording become more meaningful, because they all point to your end goal.
Let's just start by asking ourselves a simple question. Why would anyone take advice about how to make audio for an open world game from someone who has never worked on or shipped an open world game? I think that's the real central question from episode 3 of Waveform. This video talks about finding your creative seed and designing with intent when it comes to things like atmospheric sounds and stuff like that, and all that would be fine if we didn't live in a real world with deadlines and limited time. Don't get me wrong, it's extremely important to have a sense of the atmosphere and the driving themes of a project before starting your sound design work, but it's also important to remember that all of these things take time, and sometimes when you're trying to get a new audio system functioning or getting in temp sounds to create a basic mix, it's not in the best interest of your project or your team to waste time on perfecting something that may change later anyway, like the sounds of a drawer opening or the way a particular gust of wind sounds. Game development is just not as rosy or idyllic as I make it out to be in this video. It's more like 100 people trying to navigate the ever-changing staircase in Harry Potter at the same time.
I'm sure you've heard this cliche before, but it couldn't be more true now. When a sound design team gets all of these elements exactly right, the player shouldn't notice the sounds at all.
I don't know about this one. Every time I hear this said, more examples come to mind of iconic sounds that people did notice and still loved. Star Wars is kind of like the rebuttal to this idea that all sound design in film and games, if it's done well, should go unnoticed. I think it's both true and false. If your ears perk up and you notice a sound in a game, it's either because it sounds amazing or it sucks. The in-between area is where things really go unnoticed. But that is not a bad thing. If the character is just walking in a big city, chilling out, looking at the water, and the sounds are just there to enhance maybe a feeling of loneliness or solitude, there isn't really a need in this moment to wow your audience with some unbelievable sound design. There's a time and place to go under the radar and bring the player into the experience in a more subconscious way. But at the same time, if you're at the climax of a game's story and the bad guy is about to launch the giant planet destroyer or something, it's not the time to go easy either. In moments like that, I want to crank everything to 11 and give the player chills with some crazy cool sounds. My old coworker Dom once said to me, sometimes the best sounds have that little bit of hurt in your ears. Alright, let's talk about my channel going forward. From here on out, Waveform will not be called Waveform anymore. About a year ago, tech YouTuber Marques Brownlee created a podcast that was also called Waveform. He has almost 12 million subscribers and therefore obviously eclipses me in the search bar of both YouTube and Google. I reached out to him and his team a while ago, but I haven't gotten a response about the name issue. But honestly, Marques aside, there are many different things that the word waveform could refer to, like audio plugins or just the idea of an audio waveform itself. I just don't think that it's a unique enough name to be worth using anymore, and it feels right to leave it behind and just let the video titles stand for themselves. At the end of the day, no one's subscribing because of the title of the show, they're subscribing for the content, so there's no real benefit to keeping the name Waveform or the episode numbers or things like that. From now on, I'm not making Waveform, I'm just making videos on my YouTube channel under my own name. The only thing that's really going to change is that we have to find a new way to introduce the videos instead of saying, hi, my name is Marshall and this is Waveform. Welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. I don't know, I guess we'll see. I hope in another 4 years we can look back on recent videos and cringe just as much as we did today watching my first 3 episodes, because that'll be the only proof we have that we're growing and learning as sound designers. Let's keep the channel growing, keep making cool sounds, t-shirts on Teespring, long-form video lessons and tiramisu on the Patreon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.